It's easier than ever for non-realtors to represent buyers. I'm talking about real estate licensees that haven't joined an association of realtors. Now, maybe your brokerage requires you to join the association of realtors. That's different. That's a brokerage requirement. I'm talking about real estate licensees that hang their license with independent brokerages like Cavour that are not affiliated with the Association of Realtors, or if you're an independent broker that has not yet joined an Association of Realtors. And I'll get asked this question on calls. An agent might have a new license or have been dormant in the past, and they may want to reactivate, and they ask, don't I need to join the Association of Realtors now? Now, if this person is going to join a realtor member brokerage, the answer is yes, but they don't have to. Think about this for a second. Why would they? And I often ask them, well, what would be your reason? Usually the answer is they want access to agent tools, to professional tools, namely the MLS. But think about this. Now, in the past, if you wanted to see listings, if you wanted to view listings to send off to your buyer client, you had to have MLS access. That changed years ago because all that data is syndicated to all these consumer websites like Realtor.com and Zillow and Redfin. So you see all that data. Now, I used to bring this up a few years ago and I'd tell people, look, you can see the same thing on the MLS on these consumer websites. And they'd say, well, what about the cooperating broker compensation? Well, that's gone now. As of the end of last year, there's no more cooperating broker compensation. That radically changed as part of the NAR settlement. So you're not missing anything by looking at the MLS through the consumer interface on Realtor.com or Redfin or Zillow. The other thing that agents bring up as a potential issue of showing homes without having Realtor membership is showing instructions. And I tell them, okay, call the listing agent. You have the listing agent's information, call them up, tell them you're a real estate agent that wants to show the property. And if the agent has a realtor lockbox, and this whole lockbox thing is going to work itself out because it's a total mess, ask them to help accommodate your showing. I mean, as it stands, even if you're a realtor member in neighboring counties, each county might use a different type of lockbox, even though someone might live on the county line. So even realtors struggle with the same issue as non-realtor real estate agents. So it's incumbent upon the listing agent to help facilitate a showing with your buyer client. You're bringing a buyer. That means if the listing agent needs to drive over and open the property, set the appointment. It's not a big issue. Now, some places offer a day code. Ask the listing agent for a day code for their lockbox. Ask them what sort of other accommodations they can make to facilitate a showing. Maybe they have an open house you can show up at. Maybe they'll open it with a key. Some listings only require shown by appointment. So it's not as simple as if you just join the realtor membership, you have access to all these listings through a lockbox. It's not that simple even for realtors. Now, the final issue that agents always bring up when we're talking about what tools they actually need or are getting by joining the Association of Realtors is professional forms. There are all sorts of alternatives to realtor forms. Cavour has its own forms library, an online transaction manager. You can fill out forms and create your own forms online. But it's not just Cavour's own form library. There are all sorts of other professional grade real estate forms that you can use without having to join an association of realtors. And when you draft a form, whether it's on a realtor form or an alternative professional grade form, whether it's from a form library like ours, another company's form library, or even if you have an attorney draft it from scratch, it doesn't matter. Once you submit that offer, the listing agent must present it. As a fiduciary, they're obligated to present your offer to the seller. And if they really throw a fit because they're not familiar with the template of the form that you submitted, have them transcribe the same terms onto the form of their choice. It's not a big deal. All of this can easily be accomplished without having to join an association of realtors. Now, if you want to join an association, by all means, go for it. I have nothing against that. I'm just saying there's an alternative. You aren't boxed into a monopolized paradigm in which you must join an association or else you cannot function without them. So if you just spend a couple minutes thinking this out, you'll see that all the tools needed to facilitate proper and professional buyer representation can be facilitated without joining an association of realtors.